Formaggio. So tonight, with dinner bubbling away behind me, I am hosting two of my relatives, my aunt and uncle, who've been longtime supporters of the show. Thank you, Anthony and Kathy. I hope that you have enjoyed this weeks ago. So here's what we're doing. Whenever you have somebody over to eat, you should be as prepared, as far ahead in advance as possible. One of the best ways I think to do that is by preparing a cheese plate. Now there's a little bit of philosophy that I use when preparing a cheese plate. There are usually three different types of cheese: cow, goat, and sheep, and I like to get all of them represented on the plate if I'm doing a 3 cheese plate. Sometimes I like to go as high as 5. I rarely go higher than that. I usually like to get some sort of blue or very fragrant cheese on the plate, as well as like a soft triple creme, and then something maybe in the middle. So that's kind of the structure that I like to work around. So here are the cheeses that I've selected for this particular board. I have a French blue, a Bleu Dauphin, and I'm just going to put that right on the plate and serve it a rind side up. Same thing with this triple creme that's been made with some mushroom inside of it. Very excited about that one. These two cheeses I want to leave whole for different reasons. Both of them will get a little messy if I try to slice into them. The blue will be too crumbly, and the triple creme, the brie, will be too soft. So for those reasons, I'm going to serve them with utensils and just leave it. Now for our medium to firm cheeses. This is Midnight Moon from Cypress Grove. This is a goat Gouda. It is very good and a little bit sweeter. It has a wax rind, and typically I tell people to eat the rind. It's part of the cheese. If you have a wax rind, go ahead and cut that off. Now, getting perfect slices of cheese can be a difficult thing, so I'm going to take this in half, and I want to make these as thin as I can, because the cheese tastes better when it's thin. You get a little bit in your mouth, you get a little oxygen going in there, you get a little saliva, and you're just going to get a lot better of a tasting experience from thinly sliced cheese than from a big lump of cheese. Also, don't be afraid to clean off your knife. Sometimes it gets a little sticky, it gets a little too much cheese on it, and it can be increasingly more difficult to slice down into the cheese. Take your time, no one's in a hurry, that's why we're doing it in advance. This is Pleasant Ridge Reserve out of Dodgeville, Wisconsin. Excellent Wisconsin Comté style cheese. I really enjoy this cheese with any sort of yeasted bread. Now with a rind like this, it looks very dirty, it looks ashy. Just cut a little bit off and see if you enjoy it. If it detracts too much from the flavor, don't be afraid to cut it off, but try it first. Doesn't detract too much. What I think I'm going to do is slice off 2 of these ends. And then each slice of cheese will have a little bit of rind left on it. Last but not least, I have this Tennessee whiskey washed rind Belvitano. This is a Sartori product, and in my experience this cheese is very crumbly, so actually I'm going to start up here just for presentation's sake. Another thing that I'm going to do, since I am probably going to be cooking for maybe the first half hour, 45 minutes that my company arrives, is that most of these cheeses are going to come with some sort of a label. So I'll find a way to sort of tuck that label in with the cheese. And if you're really knowledgeable about the cheese that you bought and you want to talk about it, go ahead and skip this step. Maybe this isn't the focus of what you're doing, but this way my guests are going to have something to talk about if all else fails. Cheese is very good, but we can fill in the plate a little bit with a couple grapes. Some raspberries are also very nice. Any sort of berry is going to work pretty well with the cheese. Cornichons, little pickles, gherkins. These are always fun. If you can't find gherkins or they're just too expensive in your area, I'd take a pickle spear and sort of slice it on that bias. And after a couple of those, boom, you have a pile of pickles. You have some pitted, call them olives. That might be very nice. If you serve olives with the pits, you need to make sure that everyone knows. I've made the assumption far too many times, and someone bites into a pit and it's not a good story. Nuts are always a good choice. You can use peanuts, walnuts, almonds, pistachios. This is a really good example of how maybe the highest quantity at the best price per pound might not be the best choice for you. The best value really comes down to what best fits your situation. So when I saw this really little packet of Marcona almonds for around $3.50, I said, hey, that's great for what I'm doing. Because the next choice up was like half a pound for $15, and although ounce for ounce that's a better deal, this is really what I need here. Marcona almonds are a Spanish almond. They're a little bit sweeter than regular almonds. They have a little bit more oil in them, so they're a little smoother. I like that a lot. That can go right in the middle. A lot of people prefer their cheese with some crackers, so get that going over here. I like my cheese with some sort of crusty bread. I didn't make this. I bought this from a local bakery, and right before my guests show up, I'm going to put it in the oven, warm it up, and sort of slice it on the bias, fill my oven bowl. You can always slice up some cucumber, radish. Apples always go really nice with cheese. If you're serving this to a group, if you just have a full house of people, I might go with cocktail napkins and toothpicks. It's all finger food, but we still need to eat it off of something. In that case, the cheese plate's probably going to be in the kitchen, and there's going to be something else going on elsewhere. So it might be less of a focus. Since I'm only serving 4 people, this is going to go on my dining room table, and we're probably going to surround it until dinner's ready. So instead of a cocktail napkin and a toothpick, I'm going with a plate and a fork. Again, finger food, but you need something to serve yourself with and something to eat off of. This smells really good. I'm going to cut this on this diagonal like that. So then I get a little bit bigger pieces. It looks like I put a little bit more effort into it, better presentation. There we go. There is my cheese board. There's probably a little bit too much on here for 4 people, especially if we're having 3 courses, but the great thing about cheese is that I can cover it up, I can have it later, and that's why this is such a great make ahead preparation, this cheese plate is going to host for me while I spend the first 30 to 45 minutes in the kitchen. Another thing that I really like to do is get two sort of opposing sauces. This is a fig jam and this is a porter stone ground mustard, each with their own spoon for serving.